So this guy's played pretty much every Championship Manager or Football Manager that's ever been released, and that means an ungodly amount of hours. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up for success and simply win more matches. So we're going to do this today in a lower league to attempt to get promoted. We're going down to League 2 in England, and I'm going to choose Fleetwood, predicted to finish in 13th position. So I've got the team, and the goal is to simply get promoted as quick as possible. So from day one, the first thing we're going to do is go straight to this first team squad and have a little look at it, making sure it's in position order, because then you can see what you're working with. So while you're looking at your squad, you need to decide how you want your team to play. What's going to be the style? What setup are you going for? So there's two ways to do this. You can either go into a club thinking, right, I'm going to do my style, nothing else. Like the Pep Guardiola style, he's only going to play one way. Or you can go to a club, have a look what players you've got, and let them dictate your setup. And that's what I like to do in lower league football to get my team promoted. See what I've got to work with and then set up from there. For example, looking at this team, I seem to have a boatload of strikers. I make that 6 or 7 strikers, not a great deal amount of wingers. So that says to me, it's time for 3 up front. Now, of course, at this point, you could move into the transfer market, but because we're focusing on lower league football, the recruitment budgets are usually pretty low like they are here. So I'm not going to make any transfers in this example. Simply going to work with the squad I've got. And that's what I've done here by building this 4-3-3. Now, this is going to be the base tactic for the entire season, no matter what happens. No matter what happens. Now, those are interesting words. Very definitive, but let me explain. After that initial squad assessment, I realised the way to go was 3 strikers because we don't have a lot of quality out wide. So we need to stick with that. So not only is pre-season a good time just to make sure your tactic is working, but it's also a good time to introduce plan B and C. But plan B and C are very much like plan A. This is plan B and C in full flow. Can you see what I'm talking about now? So once we've got our system, we stick to it no matter what the situation. We have an attacking variant right there, and we have a defensive variant right there. Each one to subtle changes, but maintaining that overall shape. For example, starting formation has a balanced mentality. If we're pushing for a goal or we're really confident going in, we switch to the more attacking version with an attacking mentality. On the flip side of that, if we're looking to defend, we drop to the defensive version with the cautious mentality. There is slight changes to team instructions through all variants. This is the standard base template. This is the defensive one where we bring in a bit of time wasting and slow the tempo down. And this is the attacking version where we crank up that tempo. There's also changes to the outer possession. The attacking one, for example, gets really aggressive, while the defensive version drops off a lot more. So now, no matter what the fixture is or what scenario it is in match, I know with a click of a button I can change the way my team approaches it instantly, all the while maintaining my shape that I have chosen based on the squad. So I take these 3 setups into the season. We start with a 1-1 draw against Barnet, but then things did start to click. And against Bristol Rovers, we went in with the attacking setup, and that's my centre-back who's playing as an advanced centre-back. We zoomed into a 4-goal lead, and after that 4th goal, I dropped back into the standard setup. Same again against Crewe, and for the Bromley match I started with a standard setup and dropped back to defensive to see the game out. The other thing I like to do when deciding which formation to start is check out the fixtures coming up and see what sort of level they're playing at. For example, Oldham in our league are expected to finish down in 20th, so I know I can attack this match. So when it comes to this match, I'll start off with the attacking version. This proved to be the right move as the advanced wing-back was the guy who supplied most of the goals in this one. Another booming win with that player getting the man of the match. So we're doing the same in the home match against Walsall. You can see the mentality in the top corner. We're going with our attacking setup, mostly because I'm at home and I'm confident of winning, and we've already took the lead and looking good. But this is where it gets handy because Walsall came back at us a little bit and started to get a few shots away, and I wasn't too happy, looked a bit sloppy. So I can just go up and change it. I went to the balanced version instead. I'm just going to calm the game down a little bit. And this was one of those rare occasions where it worked perfectly. We didn't push up quite as much and we had a bit more time on the ball, and we went 2-0 up through this absolute wonder goal from Norwood. Into the second half, I'm still the same. We're still looking pretty good, dominating possession. So at this point, I did drop to the narrow version. You can see the change of roles. We're more cautious now, and with 25 minutes to go, this will probably see us through. And with Walsall pushing on, it actually helped us break through and get the 3rd goal. And the main difference with this cautious approach, I've still got my shape. You can see I've got 3 up front, I've got the 4 at the back and the midfield 3. But the big difference is the fullbacks. If we just pause it there, you can see they don't push on, they stay in line with their centre-backs. Just makes it more solid. And we end up seeing that game out 3-0 using all 3 versions of the tactic. So a lot of people will have a 4-3-3 like I've got, for example, and then their backup tactic might be a 4-3-3 wide. But we don't need to do that when we've got our possession set up, so we can just keep them the same. So that way your team will get used to the tactic faster as well. If you look at the familiarity up here, on all 3 tactics, they learn it all as quick. All as quick, because it's the same shape. It's the same shape, it's the same initial setup. Speaking of out of possession, in the base tactic, there it is. It's like a 4-4-2. In fact, I'll put them both up so you can see how people are moving around. 4-4-2, so the wide centre midfielder moves to wide midfield and one of the strikers drops into winger. I didn't want to drop him too far back, so that seems to make sense. For the attacking variant, it's exactly the same, just the advanced wing back dropping back. The only difference is the cautious variant, where we're trying to see out a match. We drop into a back 3. We do drag that extra striker back to a more defensive wide position. So far using this approach, we are top of the league. I guess the skill in it, the hard part perhaps, is when you look at your fixtures, is deciding what to start with. Which tactic do you go into the match with? It's always a pretty good idea to go with your base tactic and then alter from there as the game goes on. Or you can check out your fixtures and the upcoming opposition. Notts County, for example. See where they're predicted to finish in the league this season. Top 6, so they're going to be pretty tricky currently in and around that area. So for a game like that, where it's away from home as well, I might even start with the defensive setup and then change if things are looking good. But yeah, using this approach so far, we're undefeated and looking pretty good. Now, other positives of this technique is it really zones in your recruitment, because you know what players you need. You know that you do not need to look for wide players because you're not going to use them. You're not going to use them, so you can just focus in on the players that you are going to use. But for us this season, we didn't make any transfers. We just used the players that were at the club, and they've took to each tactic setup pretty damn well. As the season went on, between November and December and January, we won nearly every match, absolutely storming the league, including this absolute demolition job on Oldham. So Oldham, already we knew one of the weaker teams in the league, and they're struggling this season, so I just went into it with the attacking setup and they just could not deal with it, and we absolutely destroyed them. We even gave Manchester United a threat in the FA Cup, and yes, I did go in attacking. I saw it as a free hit. So using that approach, Fleetwood, predicted to finish 13th, remember, stormed the league title with 104 points, scoring well over 100 goals as well. Do you know what, in honesty, it could have been a lot better, because when I was really zoned in on it during this period here, I was absolutely flying. And then when we won the league, which was somewhere around March, I kind of backed off a bit and played most of the matches attacking all the way through, as you can see from this match against Bristol Rovers, 5-4. So I got a bit sloppy, but the approach definitely worked. We've got the 3 versions there. All of them we used. I used that one most of the time in my home matches, but nearly every away match I started like this. This technique of getting your 3 base tactics together, I just feel like is the best way to do things, especially lower league when you can't bring in tons of players that you want. It's obviously not the only way to do things. For example, if these 2 players here were really comfortable playing as number 10s, of course I could create another formation like that. It's not too different from the base tactic, but it does give us a bit more of a solid look. But that is my favourite way to do things, when you've got a set of tactics that are very similar shape, but just do different jobs on the pitch, rather than having one like that and then your alternative tactic being something completely different, maybe like something like that. I just think it helps the flow of the team that little bit more, especially in lower leagues when you're working on a tight budget. I've taken that philosophy to a top team. This is Inter Milan. Different setup this time. This is the attacking version of the tactic. It's a 4-3-3 with 2 inside forwards. Then we drop to the balanced version. The wing backs drop to full backs and the mentality shifts. And then we've got the cautious one as well. A couple more role changes, and throughout the team instructions change ever so slightly. And so far it's been doing the business big time. Looks like the title's already in the bag. We've just lost to Napoli, but we are 18 clear with about 9 games left. So yeah, it's worked pretty well.